You're very welcome along to our 36th live Q&A, right? So you know the drill, questions have come in advance and I'm going to take them in order, of course, from whoever's in TSG Plus first. I can get into your questions first. And then if anybody's any questions as we go along, ask away in the chat. I'll be checking the chat after. And then in terms of any announcements or any releases, I just want to share, for those of you in TSG Plus, you may have seen this. I'm going to go into here. I have released a planner in there, okay? In one sense, you may say it is the latest release of a yearly planner in history, but in another sense, since we've August onwards, it's all good. So just, there've been questions coming in for me about practice routines and stuff, so I just wanted to share this real quick. So we have our overall view of the planner where, like, one example of where this is useful is it's sometimes easier to get a high-level overview of your month. When you live in the day-to-day, sometimes it's tricky to know how disciplined and focused you are with your guitar practice. But if you zoom out from a month's bird's eye view and you go, wow, I have a pattern of like not practicing guitar on a Tuesday, or I seem to do 3 days in a row and I skip 2 and I don't know what that's about. It brings awareness, and when you can bring awareness to your playing, you can do something about it, then you can bring your attention to it. So that would be one thing there. That's our monthly view, and then you can write your priorities. And of course, William, as you know, we have our accountability thread in the community. So if you're needing extra accountability, you can have that there. Then the monthly focus, we've the week split up, so you can write your main focus for each week and your one thing to focus on. So for example, if we've been talking about your strumming technique, and if your one thing to focus on is holding the pick a different way while you strum to get a fuller tone, then that's what goes in that box. But of course, you could be like, but Dave, I found this cool thing online, or but Dave, I saw somebody else in the community play this really cool thing. And that's why we have a quarantine here for shiny guitar objects, right? This box may need to be bigger, who knows? But that's where you can write in the cool stuff you see others do, and you can talk with me about it and kind of go, I saw somebody do this. And if it's a good idea for you to go at it, then all systems go. Finally then, habit tracker. So if you're looking to track your habits of like your practice bit by bit, this can be useful. Studies have shown that when you tick the boxes, as simple as it is, it can reinforce good behavior and it can reinforce the habit of playing more guitar. And also another thing is, one scenario could be, you could be there going, I want to learn this song, and that's cool. And then you could have the skill you want to work on, and that skill could actually be a habit that we're rewiring. So if you've done things a certain way for like 5 or 6 years, and then I come along and kind of go, okay, keep an eye out, we need to unwork this. That's also something you can put in this little habit tracker box, and you can dedicate a couple of minutes each day to it and basically make sure you're keeping on track. Now, I won't go into too much more detail. I'll just share real quick because I've done a full breakdown video of this in the community, guys, for you to check it out. The weekly review, this page I would print out, and I do every Sunday. Your 3 to 5 biggest wins, basically checking your playing, and then the monthly review, of course. Okay, so everything will be there. And of course, if you have any questions, ask in the community, no problem. And the advantage of this is when you do reviews, 52 weeks in a year, if you were to do that over a whole year, that's 52 times you would have stood back from your playing and brought awareness to it as to what's working, what isn't working, and what you're going to change about it. And it's like there's 52 times in the year that you can make those little tweaks and little pivots. And it's those little changes in direction that keep you on track. Because as that saying goes, like planes are generally off course more of the time than they're on course, and it's up to the pilot to just keep nudging. And that's the purpose behind this planner. Okay, so that is the planner in a nutshell, and then we're going to get into the questions. Let me see. Let's see who else we got. Hey Andrew, yeah, welcome in again. You've met some of the crew here. These are the TSG crew in the house. Hey Gloria, welcome in. How are you doing? Who else have we got? Other hellos. We've Andy, Noel, Brendan. No worries, William. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, William. So the planner is on the top of our feed. So I just pinned it there before going live. So you'll find it there. The download is there. It's version 1.0. There's other cool stuff. Like I was talking to my wife there yesterday, and she was sharing some really cool stuff she'd seen and was giving me some really great ideas, and I'm definitely going to add more into it. But for now, I just rocked with the version 1. Okay, and welcome in. How's Brendan? Can we track our wine consumption on here, Dave? Yes, 100. There's a special section at the back for cans of lager and wine. The habit tracker. Alrighty. Yes. Hey, Stephen, welcome in. How are you doing? All right, Stephen, any questions? Ask away. Dan, welcome in. How's things? Good to see you on the call. Okay, and yeah, Andy, you might contribute that page to it. You might have a design idea for it. That'd be cool. Alrighty, so I'm going to get into the questions. I could be waiting having the crack with you in the chat all day long, but I'm here to share answers. Right, so first question that came in was from Brian. And the question is, when can you go from beginner to intermediate guitar? Now, those terms are, they're lobbied around everywhere. I say them, but they're very vague. Like, nobody has the exact definition or the final say on what constitutes a beginner versus an intermediate guitar player, because a lot of players will actually say they feel like beginners even when they're not. Like, that's the reality. But the key thing about beginner guitar, I would say, is it's when you have your 10 main chords, like that's A minor, B minor 7, B7, C, D, D minor, E minor, F, and G. Those ones, and you have about 3 to 5 strum patterns, and you have about 5 songs under your belt. I think that's a pretty good benchmark to nudge out of the beginner. But the thing is, it's like it's a whole spectrum. Like, as our guitar journey map builds out inside the School of Guitar, like, you'll have noticed yourselves, somebody could be doing things that are way farther down the line for you, and then go back to basics to rewire something. So we're all the time kind of going around the journey map. So, but the key thing to get to intermediate stage is to focus on, quote unquote, the basics, quote unquote, the stuff that might seem boring in the beginner phase. So when you do that, you can move out of it quicker. All right, so hope that helps, Brian. And of course, any questions, follow-up ones, ask them in the community. Question came in from Niall. Niall's learning a new song, and how much time should be allocated to the song per practice routine? So I'm going to actually hop onto the whiteboard here. So if you are taking your practice routine, the way I like to think of the practice routine is, I like to think 80-20. So I like to think that 20% will be new stuff and 80% is stuff that you really need, like, to reinforce. So in that example, like with your songs, you want to begin to take your songs, and I know we've had this conversation, a few of us, where you learn a song and the idea is that you can go between your songs. So if you're learning new songs, that you're maintaining them, that like this song here might be the newest song, this might be the one you're currently on, and this might be one you played a while back. And the idea would be that the one you played a while back, you still play it in here to keep it maintained. You're doing the one that's nearly there, and then you're starting a brand new one. But you're juggling between them, so you're all the time checking in on them, keeping them balanced, you know? Because otherwise what happens is we set up like little foundations all over the guitar world of like songs that are half complete and songs that are like not fully there. So that's what I'd say. And in terms of how much allocated to the song per the practice routine, like time itself, Niall, I would say like, it depends on the song, but I would pick just the verse and get one section and start getting sections under your belt. So you start seeing results, and that'll motivate you to go to the next one. Because what can happen, and which some of you might resonate with, you'll get so far into a song and then you hit the wall or the work gets hard. And then you might go, I'll get back to that in a while. And you start a new song and then hit the wall and it'll start again. Right? So that's what I'd say. And to break the skills out of the song, look at the song and go, what are the skills I need? And how can I drill those skills to make the songs easier? Like Declan, I was talking with Declan earlier in the DMs inside the community, and Declan likened it to like the ingredients, working on the skills like the ingredients. And when you gather the right ingredients and put them together the right way, it gives you the cake, which is the song. I thought that was really cool. So, next question is from William. Could I share a bit about grades? Now, William mentioned the ABRSM grades. I don't have personal experience with those grades. I did say though, and you're okay with it, that I'd share about the other grades. I've sat grade 8 in electric guitar and bass, and I've brought students through grades all the way up to 8. Grades they're okay. It's nice to get a piece of paper for your playing. That can never be taken away from you. That's a sign that you work towards something, and it's a sign that you dedicated yourself to a process and things like that. But in terms of utility, the utility of the grade material is what I'd ask anybody to check in with when they're looking to do a grade. Like, as an example, I'm working with somebody right now on their grade 8 electric, and really the stuff that they have to improvise over is stuff that they've never improvised over before, and it's stuff that like nobody would play at a gig to want to hear anybody improvise over. So the use case of what they're working towards, and we've spoken about this, I've said it candidly, the use case of what they're working towards, they mightn't have much use for it after the grade. And if you know the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And if we go back to our diagram here, that kind of turns it into this effect where you work on something here for ages, and then when you're done, there's no place to go with it. And then you forget it because you haven't had to use it, So that's what I'd say, like, but if you'd like to get a piece of paper for time and dedication effort, yeah, that's one thing. But definitely the material, look at the syllabus and just ask yourself, is it usable? That's the key thing, One slight thing to that is my motivation for doing the grade 8 was to be eligible to get my guitar teaching diploma, which I did. That was my reason for doing it. So I did it. Sorry, I haven't used much at all from the books since that. But it was to get the qualification of it to be eligible to sit a guitar teaching diploma. That was it. So if you're looking to do that, definitely, that'll be a huge thing. All right, question from Brendan. I'm trying to sing while strumming is hard. What are the tips and tricks for trying to sing while picking, especially when they don't follow the same rhythm? Great question. Oh, camera has froze, but I'm still here. Okay. So when things generally won't follow the same rhythm as you sing and play, so what I'm about to share here will work for a ton of stuff. So if I was to work on this song here, right? So the first thing I would do is I would basically drill that over and over again till it's past the point that you're able to play it. And you'll know it when, like if I said to you to strum an E minor, do you have to think about that? No, If you can drill something and have the patience and persistence to drill it way beyond that area or that level of just that I got it. Like, when you get something, you're like, yes. Like, you want to get it so beyond that it's just in the background of your mind, And what you could do is a song that you can sing and play well already, go and sing and play that. And as you do it, just check in how you feel in your body as you play. And then go back to the other one that you're working on and just sense how you feel in your body or what's going on in the mind as you play that one. And that can be sort of a way to calibrate between the two to let yourself know. All right. But in short, I would just drill whatever you're doing. I would drill it over and over and over. Like my teacher gave me this one as my first song to like sing and play. And he said one sentence, and what he said to me was just play it over and over and over and over again. And that was it. And I did. Like I followed everything he said. Just drill it and then start trying bits of singing. All right. So hope that helps. Any follow-up questions, let me know. And just to let you know, folks, the questions about some of these things that you have, if there's a song attached to it, just let me know. And the song then, if I know the song, I can bring more context to it. Question from Coleman. And Andy and Andrea helped Coleman with this inside the community. I'll give my own little 2 cents to it. Coleman was saying the dots on his guitar neck have faded away. What do I recommend to do to get new ones? I've tried markers and other things, but they just rub off. I think you can buy ones online. I think Tolman, I remember looking at, because I played a gig once and it was a nightmare. There was no light in the place and I couldn't see anything. And I looked up like glow in the dark dots. They were there. So I'd check Amazon, Thomann. One thing you could do is probably check YouTube, like just in terms of getting reviews. And then when you do that, at least you can be sure they're working, because out of anything, the adhesive, I'm pretty sure that like, and probably as well to wipe the top of the neck so that there's no lint or anything like that on the top. All right. Now, next question came in from Andrea. How long does it usually take new strings to bed in? So Andrea changed her strings lately. Now, here I said I'd share something. So this was on the string changing video, I think, but I'll run through it again. So after I have my strings changed, to get them to settle quicker, what I do is I tune the guitar up, and then, this is in a Guthrie Govan book once. The book was Creative Guitar 1, I think it was, Creative Guitar 1. And he was saying to hold the fret here and just wiggle the string and hold each fret and just go all the way up. And do that with all your strings. Tune it, and it'll put the guitar out of tune on purpose, but then you tune it back up and you do it again. You know, and what I used to do then is I'd belt out some chords, and when I do that, it kind of like really forces the strings. All right, so cool. Now, next question came in from Mark. How to recommend to start and finish practice? So if you're trying to squeeze practice in when you have free time in an evening, and you're looking for more structure, what would I recommend to start and finish practice? What I recommend first is to check in, what type of player are you? Some players like to start with something easy and fun, and that gets them on the instrument, whereas others are more let me take care of this, I want to start this thing that's going on my playing. They want to go towards the challenge. So check in with yourself. Whichever one is the gateway to get you to start and get you ticking along, that's what I'd start with. So for example, I'd warm up with some chords, I'd strum some basic stuff, all right? Just stuff that won't produce errors. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, something I'd enjoy as well, like if it was a song. And then I'd get into, and this fits into our talk around the 80-20. Like that whole thing is like, whatever the new stuff is, I would go at that. And then whatever I'm looking to reinforce, I go at that. And then, like, by the way, this can also flip, like, depending on what your needs are. Like, you could go at 20% new or old stuff, 80% reinforce or important stuff. Now, why am I saying to flip it? Well, every guitar player's situation is different. Like, one example would be you're working on strumming. If you're working on something like that and you go playing a ton of old stuff, doing it the old way of strumming, doesn't make as much sense. So if it's a particular skill, I just go full on and attack it and just basically do a ton of it and then go back playing the old stuff then like that. All right, so that's what I'd say. Start with the easy stuff, then check out what's your one thing. And that's the purpose of the practice journal as well, just hone in on that one thing, on what you should focus on the most. And the really cool thing is, for those of you in TSG Plus, you know, I'm just a DM away. If you're unsure what you need to be focused on this week, just ask, all right? So we can always check it out. Alrighty, so next question came in from Jack. Jack's question is around, perfect. I struggle with upstrums. So I've paraphrased here, but if you're struggling with upstrums, the key thing to remember is with upstrums is that they're not generally meant to be strummed all the way up the guitar, like here. When I'm doing upstrums, Jack, I'm basically strumming down, down, up. And I strum the thinnest 2 or 3 strings. Because if you're going all the way up and down, it's just too much movement and it's too much to handle, and it can cause buzz, like especially if you're doing like even slowed down. My up, down, up, the end is on the lower strings, all right? And since they're lower, or since they're thinner strings, and they don't have the winds on them, like Joe, they're I'm mixing up my terms here, but they don't have the winds on those thinner strings, so the pick doesn't get caught as much in them. Alrighty, next question. It's to do around a particular chord change. So changing from G to F. Now the song is Traveling Soldier. So if I'm going 2 days past dating done, letter to right, so working on the G to F change. First thing it says, if you're doing the G to F bar chord, the first thing to notice is my thumb. My thumb's at the back here. Watch this. For G, now watch it for F. It drops down. Right, so that'll be the first thing. The second thing is for a Traveling Soldier, I generally do the 4-fingered F. So if you look at the chord and you look at the way your fingers are currently paired up for a 4-fingered G, because I'm playing kind of country type music, I generally use the 4-fingered G for that. So we get these two here and these two in this formation. Now watch the F. Those two pairs of fingers are in the same formation. Like those two are still looking like this. And these two are up here for G and they're down here for F. So if you begin to think of it as moving, instead of moving 4 individual fingers into 4 individual new spaces, instead you think of it as like 2 pairs of fingers, and you're just moving those 2 pairs, you're kind of flipping them around, right? And you want to do the change so slow that you feel like you've complete control of your fingers, and it doesn't matter how slow you're going. So if you're going from here, from G, and then slow-mo to F. And when you do the slow-mo and keep the control, you can start to ramp up the speed from there, okay? And the other thing then is, like I was sharing lately, when it comes to a chord change, like a chord change is like, outside of not knowing the chord shape, it's the #1 thing that pauses the song on a player. It's the #1 thing that causes the song to stop and halt and have a problem. So it's the #1 priority, like the one thing, like we're saying in the practice journal. If that's the one thing that you need to work on, you just find out how to work on it, and how you work on a chord change like that. You play 1 G, 1 F, just 1 down strum on each. You go back and over for 2 to 3 minutes. You start measuring how many changes you can do in a minute, and then you start doing those as sort of reps, and then you track your progress by seeing what you're scoring. So for example, if you change 4 times in a minute to begin, then a couple of days later, you're at 7 in a minute, then 9 per minute. Generally, once you get up to 12 changes per minute, that's like super usable for a ton of songs. All right, so hope that helps. Great question, Wayne. Okay, next question came in from Benjamin. Learning acoustic, looking to get my first electric. Any suggestions? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of, I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to pull up Thoman. And of course, if anybody's any suggestions in the chat for a first electric, I know there's some seasoned electric owners in here and purchasers. So if you have any suggestions, I'm just going to share my own. Okay. So my suggestion is Yamaha Pacificas. I absolutely love these guitars. It was my first electric, and I've recommended them for countless students. And they're very affordable, like compared for the build quality that's in them. Necks are lovely on them, bodies are good, and the really cool thing is with a guitar like this is you can upgrade the pickups, you can upgrade everything. Like when I got my first electric, it was a Yamaha, and it was £200, a long time ago. And what was said to me at the time, and it was true, was look, you get this, just make sure the neck and the body in it are nice, and then you can upgrade almost anything else you want. And that's what happened. Like one birthday, I got one pickup. For Christmas, I got another pickup. Then I changed out the saddles. Then I changed the machine heads. And over time, that like £200 electric became like a €700 electric because of the upgrades. So that's the cool thing. If you find an electric that you like and that's at a good price point, you know, that's why I recommend Yamaha Pacificas. Let's see, any other questions? Okay, question in from Paul. All right, so I'm going to get to this. So a really nice Epiphone, cheap Squire Electric I bought years ago. I think I'm getting a new Yamaha. Yes, Yamaha, cool. Restart, okay. Picked up 2 years, class. Yeah, I would get that guitar. Yeah, so the question is, should I stick with the cheaper Squire or get this Yamaha? Look, and I know you say you're at 51 years old. Like, I'd do it, man. Like, just get a nicer electric, and the nicer your guitar is, the more likely you are to want to pick it up and play. So that'll definitely help. And the other question is, am I too old to pick it back up? No way. Anybody in the chat, I'm not calling out anybody because I'll be giving away ages and stuff, but if anybody in the chat feels like sharing that it's not too late to pick it back up, just post a comment, all right? I'm going to say it's not. Definitely not. Like, seriously. I've worked with players who are a lot older than 51, who started later than you. And the thing is, like, the enjoyment and the progress and everything can still be found at any age. It's just a case of knowing the right steps and just doing the next right thing and the next right thing after that and putting in the time. That's the key thing, okay? And yeah, the fingers after 3 weeks. Yes, yes, yes. they're going to be sore. Alrighty, so that's the questions gone through that came in. I am going to tear through this chat here now. Let's have a look through. Okay. Okay, here Rory, how are you keeping? Good to see you on the stream. Okay, I'm gonna post this here. Okay, question. Find a song with simple chords like a Paddy Casey song, but then it turns out there are a lot of intricacies. Sorry, I can't say that word, but I know what you mean. Tricky things in the strumming. So I go from confident I can't do it to what the flip. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, the Paddy Casey stuff is like, especially that, like, yeah, so in that case, right, a lot of the online stuff will miss out on the really detailed strumming stuff. So in that case, then what I used to do, like when I was learning, if the thing wasn't there, I used to try and find a video and learn off the video. And this was before YouTube. So what you could do is like if I was to do, I'll do this here. Okay, just give me 1 sec, folks. Okay, this will work. And get the ad out of the way. Then I'm gonna go here. Okay, perfect. So, okay, so The Late Late Show, a classic Irish show, folks. So you see, I'm digging for video views of his strumming. There, okay. And what I do, Rory, is I put it at half speed, and this is quite manual and quite like, it takes work, but it builds your guitar skills and your musicianship skills insanely well. That if you put that at half speed and you grabbed a pen and paper and did your best to like watch sections of the video that he's in and that you're seeing the arrows. Like there, even you pick up on stuff like he's doing a chord there with his thumb on the top, you know. So that would be one thing for the, like, what to do if, because finding Paddy Casey stuff online will be tricky. So you could slow it down like that. And then when it comes to playing the pattern, the next thing with that would be to break the pattern up, like really break it down. And instead of going for the whole thing, treat it like a poem and break it into 2 lines at a time, or like 2 beats at a time. And just get that first, you know. Yeah, that would definitely help, because you just got to break it down. And then the bits that seem to be the flashiest bits to play in the strum pattern, take them out first, just do the basic thing, and then try and add in 1 or 2 of the bells and whistles. And if you can, you could look up like an online strum pattern generator and input the arrows of what you're looking to play and break it down like that, you know. Okay. Okay, and then a follow-up question, is there a good way to learn strumming techniques specifically? Yeah, so the big thing is that can you play first with the metronome? Can you keep a steady beat, like I mean religiously on a metronome? Can you stick to it down? Because when you do that, your 1, 2, 3, 4 of your beats are steady. And then the strumming techniques, the next thing will be, do you have your basic patterns? That'll be stuff like, right, and then, and what you want to be looking for with your strum patterns is your technique around, are you swinging wide for the fences like this, doing what I call the windshield wiper, like big wide strums? Because if you are, what happens there is, and these are things that a lot of players don't notice and it doesn't affect them until they try trickier strumming patterns. Paddy Casey at Speedy's going, anyone can lose it all. You see here as I strum, I'm staying tight to the sound hole, but other songs I get away with doing that, you know. And then the other thing is holding the pick, thumb and index only, and strumming. If you aim to strum from your thumb nail, it's like a real point there that you can start from, rather than in case there's any elbow stuff going on or arm stuff going on or even wrist. The thumb, that thumbnail, especially, you know, it's a good way to keep the strum tight. And then finally, arrows. You want to be sure that your arrows, you're definitely playing downs when they're meant to be downs and ups when they're meant to be ups, okay? So watch out for stuff like other rhythms like that. And one more thing was, there was one more thing, it came up there. It'll come back to me, it'll come back to me. Okay, but there's a few things there anyways, hope that helps, all right? And any follow-up questions, folks, Rory, if you have any follow-up questions, post in the chat, or if any of the rest of you have seen that now and it sparked off an idea or a question, just ask away, okay? Because I definitely believe there's definite power in everyone coming together, hearing the same stuff, and then other questions coming off the side of it. Okay, question from Stephen. Yeah, so Stephen, you currently have Yamaha F310. Any recommendations? Is an F3... I just want to check. It's an acoustic. Okay, perfect. I'm a big fan of Taylor's. Like, Taylor's, yeah, that's my favorite one. Depends on your budget, like, you know, you can go as high as the moon if you want. I like Taylor's. I have a baby Taylor, but if you're looking for a bigger body, the Big Baby is one, and there's the GS Mini is really nice as well. One of our members, Brian, got a lovely GS Mini lately. It sounds lovely. So yeah, they'd be my main recommendations. And of course, Declan there is in the chat. He might have already responded. Welcome in, Declan, as well. Okay, cool guys, that's cool. William loves Epiphones. He's 3 of them. Brilliant. Yeah, the quality of the Epiphones as well. Like, I remember years ago they used to have a name like the Squires, like that they... What was the talk? They were made from like the parts that came from, that didn't make the main Gibson factory. But man, like in recent years and before that, like the quality of Epiphones is so good. I played the Slash one, the Slash Les Paul. I thought it was lovely. Okay, and great share from Brendan. As a first electric, you can never go wrong with an aria or a chord. Always played those and they'd be so easy to play. Sounded good on the chords as well. Yeah, I had an aria as well. I love arias. Dan has a chord and Hardy Benton can't fault either for the price. Excellent. And just for the age thing, William gave up music for about a decade and picked it back up at 56. There we go. People are sharing. That's good. Okay. So hope you caught that, Paul. And yeah, that's class. Yeah, it is. Anne started at 51. Best hobby ever. There we go. I love this. Okay. So, okay. More electric advice. That's perfect. There's in the chat. You'll be able to read it. Thanks, Declan. Okay. Tokais, yeah, 100%. Tokais are, geez, they're lovely as well. Class, look at this. Look at you all chatting guitars, this is class. Oh, brilliant. Glad you find that useful, Rory. Yeah, the half-speed thing, guys, is a really good one to do. When I was learning guitar first, it was what, 2000, and it was videos, VHS tapes, and like they were really bad quality. They were a copy of a copy, like, and then I'd be watching jagged versions of Dire Straits and just trying to watch through the blurriness of what he was doing. And I think we're in a HD age now where you can look up not only one version, because back then you had to hope the band had a live DVD out or a live concert, but now you, like that Paddy Casey thing, you could look up if he played lately on some open mic like TV thing, YouTube channel, it could be in pure HD quality, you know. That'd be the thing. Okay, nice. This is class. I love seeing you all talk to each other. This is so cool. Okay. Okay, so Declan shared, he found when I count strum patterns. Hold on a sec now. Yeah, check out the electric corner inside the community, guys. Those in TSG Plus. That electric corner will be getting more hanging out, I'd say, as time goes on. So Declan is saying when he finds he counts strum patterns as 1 and 2 and 3 and rather than the down up strummings. Yeah, that's true. Like if you're finding as well, see the thing with the down, down, up, down, up, you have got to be sure you're saying it at the way it's meant to be played. And that can be quite subjective. Like I've spent years teaching 3 students at once, and what I see, like I do one-to-ones, I do 2 in a group, 3 in a group, and group calls, but like when I see the same thing taught to 3 students and a week goes by and they come back in, it's amazing. It's like kind of conducting teaching research, really. But it's always the ones who do the counting with the numbers, because you can't argue with that. You like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you'll know if you're swinging that count, if you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the arrows then are kind of trickier if you're just doing arrows. Yes, William, gotta give a shout out to the Martins. Okay, cool. Class Noel, that's perfect. God, I feel like these chats should be saved and shared afterwards, guys. You're sharing so much great stuff. It's amazing. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, actually, hold on. I'll post that in. Declan with the details. Check that out, okay? So make a list of everything with it, you know. And by the way, I'll check in for permission about this, but Ken gave a great talk about acoustic guitars inside our paid community, and I'll see if it's possible to share that. It's currently inside that community, but Ken went to town on like details and woods and string types and body types and everything. It was really cool, really cool. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to add this. Okay, so question from Andy. I'm forgetting to do the basics again, like using the metronome and chord changes and strum patterns. I find if I can play half a song, I go looking for more. That is a true thing. Okay, yeah, totally valid. Okay, so let me do this here. Okay, so when it comes to this, so Andy, I hope you don't mind me sharing. So Andy was going through like the beginning stages of guitar, and when in the beginning it's quite linear, like you learn this, do this. So for example, with chords, hold on, I'll see, can I get this? Like let's say Andy got G, C, D, then got a strum pattern, and the whole time we're putting it to songs. And then what ends up happening is we get a few more chords, and we get another strum pattern and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, our guitar skills went from this to suddenly this. And this is the zone that usually then we start looking out the way on the internet to all different cool stuff, shiny objects and songs and stuff. And that's important to be able to do. Like it's really good to do. Like, and that's part of the enjoyment of playing guitar. It's like getting your first things like the metronome, the strum patterns, the open chords, getting the foundations together, and then kind of the internet is there for you to like look up songs. Now, what can happen at this stage though, and this is what can happen when I meet players who've been playing like, let's say 10 years and they go, hold on a sec, I'll just try this. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. 10 years we'll say, and then they go, I'm playing and I feel like I've hit a wall or hit a plateau or I'm stuck in a rut, keep playing the same stuff, and I'm looking for more structure and direction and a structured practice routine on what should I be learning, you know? And that kind of ties in what Declan shared there about like finding your, thinking about a guitar, like what specifically are you after? And that's why in the community we talk about like specifically what do you want yourself? What are your dream songs? And with this, Andy's question is around the basics and the foundations. But see, the thing to check in on Andy then is, do you need to go back over all of them? Like, is there anything that you find is slipping? Like, for example, if you put a metronome on today, can you still play with it okay? And if you can, that's a good sign. And I wouldn't check back on that for a while. And then I'd check back on it a while later. So for example, if you did like a week went by and you're okay with the metronome, then I might check another week. Is that okay? Then I might check 2 weeks. And if it's still okay, it's a real sign that it's gone into your hands and gone into your head and your playing abilities, the way your E minor and G is. That's the benchmark, like is the stuff going in the same as G and E minor. And then what you do is anything though that would be an X, that's a major red flag to like put that back in your practice routine as the old, quote unquote, old stuff to focus on, and just get that back. And then start seeing, can you start to put it in that maintenance phase of your playing, okay? And of course, if you need anything, you drop me a message, all right? But that'd be the first thing I'd say, okay? And then, by the way, very good, yeah. Okay, perfect. An excellent tip from William about rhythm is consistent counting and tapping my foot on the beat, foot goes down, offbeat, foot comes up. Yeah, like that's the thing too. It's so easy to forget to do the natural things in the beginning. We get busy doing something on guitar and then we forget about it. So yeah, 100%. Question, I'll take Paul's question. Okay, what was your first song that you're able to play from start to finish? I think it was Wonderwall, and I'll share what got me from start to finish because I never would have if it wasn't for this. I was in school, it was my first song, we had a reason to play it, there was a school concert coming up, we were playing Wonderwall for it, it was like 1999, and we should have been playing Prince 1999, but anyways, and we had a reason, there was a deadline, there was a reason, and then I was with the group, so I was being held accountable, and I was given what to do, and the teacher was checking up on me. So I drew this diagram inside the community, but I'll share this with you. Like those 3 places, like I had my lessons, I had my community, and I had home, right? So what I did was, basically, what I did, Paul, was I was taught it in a lesson, and then the community was my school. Okay, community can mean different things to different people. Those are all the players I was surrounded with at that stage. Then I was home. So how I got it from start to finish was I practiced it at home. Any tweaks and personalized feedback came in the lesson, and then the community was the real reason to get it through. And that's basically how TSG Plus is modeled. It's modeled on my own upbringing. Basically, like there's a song of the month, and members share videos, and it gets everybody playing and something to work towards, you know. So, but Wonderwall was the song. It was a cool one. And of course, somebody taught me Smoke on the Water as well on 1 string. And by the way, I'll put this out to you. Do any of you know this song? I never learned the name of it, but it was like. Somebody taught me that, and they never told me the name of it, and I never knew it since. And yes, Kin's talk was class. The talk on acoustic is so good. Oh, cool. You have a Yamaha Pacifican. Nice one. Class. Same as Rory. Okay. Okay, Hendra, welcome in. How are you doing? I answered your question. You'll find it at the start of the stream tomorrow on the replay up. Okay. Okay, well, come on, William, you got it covered. Okay, great question, Noel. No, you're great man for the philosophical questions. These are good. Okay, Anton, I wish I learned earlier on in my guitar journey. Uh, I think I definitely think I would have loved to have learned improvisation earlier. I had a hard time with that because I would have done chords, then Sultans of Swing, then a load of lead and like shred and stuff. And and then when it came to improvisation, there was a major gap between me being able to burst out a solo and kind of sound like Slash, and then I'd write my own solo as an improv, and I'd always be like, that doesn't sound as good as Slash's. Why would I make my own up? But over time, then once gigging came along when I was 19, I realized I had to improvise. There was no choice. Like there'd be songs and guys would nod on stage. They kind of go, take a solo there. I'd be like, it doesn't matter if it sounds crap. I need to solo and learn how to do it well. You know. So that was the thing. And the other thing was rhythm. Rhythm was something that I wasn't naturally strong at. So that definitely helped. Okay. Hey man, nothing sad about Purple Rain. I love Prince. Prince is class. One of the best gigs I was ever at was Prince. Um, okay. Okay, that's the questions. Gee, we have 102 comments on that thread, folks. That's insane. That's good. Okay, so let's just check here. Any other questions? I'll keep them coming. We have time left. We've about 10 minutes, all right? So I'm here for any, if you need anything expanded on or anything. I'm just going to check here. Question, what's the best guitar solo of all time? That's quite subjective. It's like those polls on the greatest guitar players of all time, like Taylor Swift made number 8 there somewhere lately and it caused outrage. And I'm like, doesn't matter because it's different things to different people, you know? But what are some iconic solos? I think that guitars, it's really worth learning that like the true mark of a solo, like of a solo that is worth learning is one that if you didn't play it at a gig or played in front of people, people know what's up. Like one example, another brick in the wall, Hotel California, Sultans of Swing, Comfortably Numb, solos like that you can't get away with improvising. You know, good question. Any composing tips for beginners? Yeah, I would start with grouping your chords together into keys and basically like modeling it on other songs. So as an example, I would write out the chords in the key of A and then let's say, I'll do this real quick. I'll do the key G. So the chords in the key G are G, C, D. We've A minor, B minor, E minor. I'm leaving out that half diminished one at the end. We're not using that. Okay. And then what I do is I would basically just mix around the chords. And the key thing for composing at the beginning is to remember that there's no such thing as a unique chord progression. They've all been done. And Ed Sheeran is a prime example of using common chord progressions, and they've all been heard before and nobody minds. But what is unique is the lyrics and the melody you put on top of what you write. And then rhythms, you know yourselves, the down, down, up, up, down rhythm is in everything. So I wouldn't get too caught up on coming up with a really unique rhythm. And then experiment with chord progressions. And it's okay if you come up with chords and you go, oh, those are the same chords as this song. But the key differentiator is the lyrics and the melody you'll put on top of it, okay? And then what I'd say is just write. There is a great video of Ed Sheeran talking about composing, and he talks about, he writes a song every day, and he does it to just get the creative stuff flowing, and also that if he writes a crap song, it's written, it's not going around his head, and then he writes a song the next day and the next day. And like Thriller is a great example. I think there was 300 songs written for Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller. He wrote 300 songs. They picked the best 10. Like, can you imagine if it went the opposite way, if he sat in analysis paralysis going, I need to write the first perfect song. And then the next part, like, it isn't the way creativity works. You just got to do a ton of it and see what comes out. Okay, hope that helps. Great question. Okay. I wish I started earlier. Yeah, I started when I was 12, and like in fairness, like sometimes people look at even kids and go, "Oh, 12 is a way later age to start than 7 on guitar." It's not. It's down to the time you put into it. I'm like teenage years in retirement, 2 great times for guitar, you know. And also, even if you're working a job, it's what you do with the time outside of the job that makes the difference, you know. That's the big thing. First one I learned was That's Entertainment. Cool. Okay, is Radiohead's Creep, question here, is Radiohead's Creep just as good to play without using bar chords? Yeah, like if it's the difference between you playing the song or not, I'd play with open chords, and I would like, so like here it is with the, okay? Now, if I'm doing open chords, where you do have control over this, the main difference between open chords and bar chords, apart from bar chords hurting a lot on the hands, is that open chords sound so open and like wide that we've got to do something to lock down the sound on them so it sounds more like Creep. So what I would do is this. I'd pan mute. And I'm basically playing like only about 3 strings of each chord. And there's the C minor chord. That's coming in, by the way, you know who you are, that's coming in a practice routine later this week. Okay, so yeah, so I just do it. Mess around with the rhythm, pan mute, lock it down. That's what you want to do if you want to do any bar chord song that's on open chords. Never a desire to improvise solo. Totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, Comfy Numb, definitely. Give Me Shelter's another great one. Class, Noel. Love the jam. Yeah, you're a big Paul Weller fan, Noel. That's class. Town Call Malice is another great one. Okay. Right, so we're in the last 5 minutes. I'm going to check here. Is there any other questions? Hey, Steve, what's up? If you're still here watching, you're welcome along. Okay, cool. We got all the questions done. Okay, now, so, let me see. Yeah, okay, so if you have any other questions, folks, I'm here. I'm just pulling something up in the meantime. Really? Class. Okay, Noel's just in there to check out the first version of Thriller. It's called Starlight. That's mad. Okay. Class. Yeah, those demos. I heard about Michael Jackson. He didn't play any instruments, so he sang all his parts. Like, and Coleman, who's in our community, shared about, oh, what's it called? The Greatest Night in Pop Music. Something like that. It's about the recording of We Are the World. I watched it lately, actually, Coleman, and they spoke about Michael Jackson, how he just sang all his parts. Like, you know, he put down everything, beatboxing. Let me see here. I'm just doing a quick search here. Ah, cool, cool. Yeah, not a bother. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow in the group, Noel. All right, have a good evening. Thanks for making it. I'm just checking this up here. Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. Right, so just in case, so if you're on the live Q&A and this is your first one, or you've been on a few, there's been a ton of them. There's been like 36 of them so far. And if we go here a sec, and you can find them all on the YouTube channel. Just go to the School of Guitar and you can flip through them. And then when you click in on them, they're all chaptered. If you want to look back, if anything catches your fancy, like you see they're all timestamped. So when you check in, like one question came in last week, what to do about a small chip in your guitar? Why do singers close their eyes while singing? Usually there's always a variety of questions. It's really cool. And then for those of you that are members, the thing that's coming next week is the guitar bot. This is the guy that's been trained in all the Q&As. Basically, I took the transcripts and the videos of all the Q&As, 36 hours, and they've been put into this guy. And you basically ask it a question and it points you to the point. It talks exactly as what I'm answering. This isn't like generic chat GPT stuff. It's actually just based on what I said. And then the references are there of the videos. So you can basically click in and it's going to bring you to that point in the video. Like this one from December 21st, 2022. Okay, so you can go time traveling, right? So yeah, so folks, that'll be coming next week, just to let you know. So because I know time is important and I know you have time and I appreciate you taking the time to attend the streams, the live Q&As. And I know it's a big order, like if you want to catch a replay, to invest a whole hour watching stuff. So it is chaptered if you want to jump in, but also this other thing is going to save you a ton of time. And you get answers straight away, which is cool. Okay, another question. What would be the best pedal to get first? A loop or something to change sound quality? In terms of like musicality, in terms of working on your musicianship, a looper pedal is brilliant because it really gets you to work on your timing and you can get creative. You can put down like, how do you say, chords, and you can improvise over them. Then Paul, you can basically like just play around with it and mess around with the harmonies, what sounds good, what doesn't. In terms of if you were spending, like, I know we were talking about effects pedals last week, Declan mentioned Moore, M-O-O-E-R, as a great brand. Like getting a multi-effects to begin, the multi-effects will do all the effects. And that's great fun. Like it's great fun to just get one and play around with it. And all the extra hours of playing you can do by like Googling what effect is in Message in a Bottle by The Police. And then you find out it's chorus, and then so you mentioned chorus there. It's chorus and a bit of delay. And then you can plug those in and all of a sudden it kind of, there you are. Like some students find they play hours and hours of guitar, you know. It's really cool. So then, let me see. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend, you know. Oh, you're very welcome, Rory. Thanks for making it. Welcome, Dan. Nice one. All right, folks, that about concludes our Q&A. Thanks, Vinny, for making it. And listen, if you have any questions, ask them anytime. And I know there's some of you in the free community that attend this. And of course, paid members, it's been amazing seeing the crew in the house and great questions came in from you. And if you're wanting to join the paid, I'll drop the link here. Or if you want to find out more about it, just drop me a DM inside school, okay? But basically, I'll be doing an acoustic accelerator starting from next week. And I'll be sending out the email list in 2 days' time. But if you want to come and join us, it is an amazing community. You've seen some great answers there from some of the crew. And there's student spotlights, there's all sorts of stuff there, you'll see it. But it is, there's no other guitar community like it, I'm convinced anyways. And it's, I have to say, in my own guitar journey is much more enjoyable calling in, seeing all the crew there each day, seeing what you're playing and the discussions that take place. So listen, if anyone want to check it out, the link is there in the chat. And if you want to find out more, just drop me a question. But for the rest of you who are inside the community, I'll see you tomorrow. So we have the practice routine that got dropped today. And then I'll be back to you. I know I reached out to all of you individually about what you needed in terms of your own practice routines. So just to let you know what's coming, you got some great answers. I'm going to read these out. So we've practice routines coming for picking individual strings, singing and playing, tackling the C minor chords, scales, triads, fills, working with the metronome, hammer-ons for chords and notes, sight reading for tab, strumming in particular, adding and enhancing strumming patterns, and then walk-ups and walk-downs, and to make open chords sound more interesting. So basically, I'm beginning to work on that, and later on this week, I'll be putting them in, and you'll be able to put them into your practice blocks then. All right? So, oh, cool. Who else have we got in the house? Class. Okay, Brendan shared cheap multi-effects is the Zoom G1X4. Hey, Anne, you're welcome. Thanks for making it in, Anne. Oh, you're very welcome, Paul. Thanks for making it. And Stephen, you're very welcome. All right, and William, thanks for making it as well. Crew, I'll cut it here, and I'll chat with you tomorrow. All right, thanks for making it, and have a great rest of the week.